Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this awesome star. It is made on the hook only. I love how it turned out. I think that it's super cute this way, and I also think that it is super cute if you double the bands. So instead of just using one band to crochet with, you'd use two. Turns out awesome. I think that with the right color combinations, that although it is way early, it seems like, to be thinking about it, I already saw Christmas stuff in the store, so technically it's not, I guess. Even though we haven't actually bought our Halloween costumes yet, but that's just the way it works now. But these would be fantastic for Christmas and stuff like that, so I just thought I would share them with you. They aren't super complicated if you've been doing some of my hook-only designs already. Band-wise, in total it would be 136 bands, I hope. I think I counted correctly, for the single banded one, and if you doubled it, then of course it'd be 271 or so for the double, for using two bands instead of one. So you can kind of keep that in mind, decide what you want to do. I am going to make this single banded in the tutorial just because it is easier to see as I go through where the stitches are and things like that, but definitely give the double a try. I think it would be, definitely turns out awesome. So I guess colors here, the center is 17 bands, and then the blue parts are, well, 31 and then 40, because there's actually 2 rows in there, and then this outside part is 48 bands, so you can kind of plan accordingly on your colors, how you want to do that. So I'll put these over here. I'm going to make mine red, I think, in the outside. You know, that's the hardest part of tutorials, coming up with the colors you want to use. Because you don't want to be horrible, but you have to make sure that people can actually see what you're doing. Alright, so starting. I'm going to start in the center here. We're going to make a cap band on the hook, so put it on, wrap it around one time. Now what we're going to do is bring up 3 bands, or we're going to chain 3. So take a band, pull it through your center on your hook. So that's 1 chain, 2 chains, and 3 chains. So we have our cap band, and then we pulled up 3 bands through it. So I'm going to go back into the center, take a band, pull it up through, put both ends on the hook, and then pull a band through everything. So I have this. Then we're going to chain 1. So you're pulling a band through. Now go back into your center, pull up a band, put both ends on the hook, and pull a band through everything. Then chain 1. So what we're doing is just creating little holes or loops. So we're going to go back in the center, pull up a band, both ends on the hook, pull a band through everything, chain 1. So now we have 3. Go back into the center, pull up a band, pull a band through everything, chain 1, count. So now what we want to do, once you have what looks like 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have that chain 1, what you want to do is find your first 3 chain that we did, and on the second one up, so we have 1 band through, then we have that second one, go ahead and stick your hook through there, and then pull 1 band through to make a slip knot. So pull a band through everything, both ends on the hook. I usually try and kind of pull it back away from the side of the design that I know is going to be the front. Pull it back and then do my slip knot. So now what you should have is a circle that has 5, if I can get all of them stretched out here, so you should have 5 little loop things in there. There we go, now you can see them. So you should have that right now. So now what we're going to do, so we're going to go in through one of these little loops here, a little spot where we have 5 of them around. Go in through there, and with your next color that'll be on the inside, I'm going to use orange. You're going to pull up 3 bands. So 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to go back into that same spot, pull up a band, then pull a band through everything. Then we'll chain 1. Find the next little loopy spot over where my finger is here. Put your hook in through there. We're going to do pull up a band and then pull a band through everything. Then we're going to chain 1 and go back into that same spot, pull up a band, then pull a band through everything. Then do a chain 1, and find the next loopy spot over. Hook goes in, pull up a band, pull a band through everything, and pull up another band for chain 1. We're going to go back in, same spot, pull up a band, and then pull a band through everything. So then chain 1, find the next loopy spot over, hook goes in, and now this is technically what I'm considering a single crochet, so if I start changing what I'm saying here, you'll know what I mean. When you put your hook in here and you pull up 1 band, put both ends on the hook, and then you take another band and pull it through everything, that's a single crochet. What I'm considering one anyways. So then we're going to do chain 1, which is pulling a band through everything. Then we'll go back into that same spot, pull up a band, single crochet, so you're pulling up a band, try not to hook your other ones, and you're pulling a band through everything. Then we'll do a chain 1, find your last loopy spot over, go in through there, do a single crochet or pull up a band, pull a band through everything, chain 1, seems kind of skinny, chain 1, there we go, go back into the same spot, pull up a band, pull a band through everything, then do a chain 1, and then we're going to connect to the first part we did. So if you come over here and you find there's 1, 2, we did that 3 chain in the beginning, so if you find the second one up, put your hook through there and then do that slip knot to pull a band through everything, both ends on the hook, and then do a slip knot. So now all the way around in each of the 5 circle centers you should have 2 single crochets coming out of them. Like so. So now we're going to start round 3. We're going to go back to the, we're still working with the orange color. So next what we're going to do is right in the spot where we tied it off, I guess I'll kind of explain here a little bit. These 2 single crochets that we did here with that chain 1 in between, this is technically called a V-stitch. So we're going to slip knot in the parts where we don't have the single crochets. We just did the chain 1 to get over to the next one. So we'll have slip knots in here, and then in between our V stitches where we have the single crochet, we're going to put some stitches in there. So just a little crochet tidbit information. So you stick your hook back in through here to the right of the 2 stitches here. And we're just going to bring up a band, both ends on the hook. Then we're going to go in through our V-stitch or the next loop, and we're going to single crochet, so pull up a band, pull a band through everything, then go back in, single crochet again, so pull up a band, then pull a band through everything. Then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go back in that same spot still, and we're going to single crochet again. So pull up a band, and then pull a band through everything, and go back in, do another single crochet, so pull up a band, and then pull a band through everything. So you have all that into the next loop over. So our slip stitch was just that 1 band we pulled up in this last one, and then we did the 2 single crochet, chain 1, 2 single crochet. So the next little space over, we're going to do that slip stitch again. So just go in through that next loop over and pull a band up through everything on your hook and put it back on. And then find the next loop over, which should be between those 2 single crochets. Stick your hook in there, and we're going to do 2 single crochets. So pull up a band, both on the hook, pull a band through everything, back in, do another one, pull up a band, and pull a band through everything, chain 1, back in that same spot, do 2 more single crochet, so pull up a band, pull a band through everything, same spot, pull up a band, pull a band through everything. That's what we have now. So find that next space over, you go in through there and you'll do that slip knot. So take a band and just pull it through and pull through everything on your hook, and then put both ends back on. So then in between the next V stitch, go back in there and it'll be the 2 single crochet, chain 1, 2 single crochet. So go in, pull up a band, then pull a band through everything. Go back in, pull up a band, then pull a band through everything, then do a chain 1, then go back in, pull up a band, pull a band through everything, back in that same spot, do another single crochet, so pull up a band, and then pull a band through everything, like so. Find that next spot over, go in through there and pull up a slip knot. So you take a band, pull it through, and then pull through everything on your hook, and then back on the hook. Find your next spot over, go in through, and we're going to do that same 2 single crochet, chain 1, 2 single crochet. So pull up a band, pull a band through everything, back into, pull up a band, pull a band through everything, chain 1, go back in there, 2 more single crochet, so pull up a band, pull a band through everything, back in, pull up a band, and pull a band through everything. So we have that. Find that next spot over. We'll do the slip stitch. So in, take a band, pull it through everything, and back on. So here's our next V spot. Then we'll do the same 2 single crochet, chain 1, 2 single crochet. So in there, pull up a band, band through everything, back in, pull up a band, band through everything, and then chain 1, back in, 2 more single crochet, so pull up a band, pull a band through everything, back in, pull up a band, band through everything, and now once you have that, you're going to want to find the beginning little chain that we did, and you're going to want to stick your hook through both sides. So there's that first little chain we did that's wrapped around our last row. Put your hook through both sides of that and do a slip knot. Like so. Looking pretty already. Alright, so now back to the red color. And what we're going to do is our first stitch is going to be, technically it's like a slip knot, but it'd actually be a spike stitch because of how we come down below where we're working, where we normally would work on this row right here. So in between, right underneath here, put your hook in through there, grab a band, pull it up, both ends on the hook, and now if you look up here on the top, we have 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitches, and it kind of goes into the chain, and then there's 2, it looks like it's like 3 up each side basically. So what we're going to do, so once you have this up, in the first stitch, which you can look underneath too if you're having trouble find it, we have the, find another hook to point at it. We did those 2 single crochets, so you have 1 right here and there's 1 right here. So the top of those are right here and right here, and then here's our chain one. So what we need to do to come up, and we're going to learn a little bit more crochet here. This side of our little teardrop right here is the front loop, and this one is the back loop back here. We are only working in the back loop for the most part this round, and what that does is give a nice little edge to our star right here. So we have that spike stitch in there. So in the top of our first crochet from last round, we're going to go into the back loop only, and we're going to take a band and pull it through everything on our hook and put it back on. So we just made a slip knot in that first one. Then we're going to go in through the next stitch in the back loop again, and we're going to pull a band through everything. So that's another slip stitch. And then what we're going to do is in this next spot up here, find that back loop again, pull up a band, put both ends on your hook, and take a band through everything. So we're doing just a single crochet in that third one up. And now we're going to do what's called a picot, which is a small loop. So we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then if you look back here, I need more hands. If you look right here, we have this the part of the single crochet. What we need to do is we're going to stick our hook in through here and then do a slip knot through this everything that's on our hook. And that makes a little loop out of the top, which is what makes the points on the end of the star. So we did that chain 2, so I'm going to take my hook and go in through this the side of the stitch basically. Go in through both loops there, and then take a band through everything. Put both ends on my hook. Now next one over, next loop is back loop only again, so back loop. Take a band, pull it up for a single crochet, and take a band through everything. And don't worry if it pulls tight like that. When you release it and kind of stretch it back out, it'll be fine. So there's my single crochet. So next stitch, put your hook through that back loop only, and take a band and pull it through everything on your hook. So we're slip stitching in that stitch now, and then we're going to do the same thing in the next one. So back loop, pull a band up through everything. So it's the spike stitch or the slip stitch, however you look at that. Then 2 slip stitches in the top of the next 2 crochets, single crochet, picot, single crochet, 2 slip stitches, and then we'll do that spike stitch. So you're going to come down kind of right underneath, stick your hook through, take a band, pull it up, pull it through everything, and both ends on the hook. So that's one point of the star. Hopefully not too bad. That's kind of throwing a lot of different little crochet terms at you, so hopefully you're following along well. So again, for the next one, here's our first stitch right here. So we're going to do back loop. I'm going to hook, back loop. We're going to do the slip stitches, so take a band, pull it through everything. Both ends on the hook. Next stitch, back loop only. Take a band through everything. Next stitch up, back loop only again. Take a band up through, and then take a band through everything. Now do the chain 2. 1 and 2. So now you want to find the side of that stitch down here. And it's not like crucial if you like can't exactly find it, or it kind of looks like, oh, I think I might have the wrong part of it. It's not a super huge deal if you miss the part or the side of it, but just as long as you get to kind of 2 bands through there. So get through all those, then take a band and pull it through everything. Back on the hook. Next stitch right here. So back loop, we're going to pull up a band. And pull a band through everything. Next stitch, back loop, pull a band through everything. Next stitch, back loop, pull a band through everything. Back on the hook. So once you're there, we need to do that spike stitch. So coming right down underneath here, take a band and pull it up through everything. Back on the hook. And once again, slip knot in the first 2. And this is where I tied it, so it's going to look a little funny to you too as well. So just kind of flip your stitches around until you find the best spot that looks like it's supposed to be where you're going. So you know that this is actually it right here. It doesn't look very pretty just because of how we have to tie it, but so there's one here, and then there'll be the slip stitch here, and then the single crochet is going to go up into that third one. So just find that back loop as best as you can, and take a band through everything. Same thing for the next one, back loop, take a band through everything, back loop in the next one, pull up a band, and pull a band through everything, then chain 2, 1 and 2, then find that side of that stitch down here, then pull a band through everything, then the next stitch, back loop only, pull up a band, pull a band through everything, next stitch, back loop, pull a band through everything, next stitch, back loop only, pull a band through everything. Then we want to find that center, go in through, pull that band up through everything, both ends back on the hook. Looking pretty good. So find that first stitch, back loop only, and sometimes when you're finagling, it just kind of, sometimes you're buried underneath your little slip stitch or your spike stitch here. So you just kind of have to really look or figure you need the 3 stitches up to the top. And so however you need to do that. So first stitch, back loop, pull a band through everything, next one, back loop only, pull a band through everything, and then the third one, back loop, pull a band up, and pull a band through everything, And we're going to want to chain 2. Find that side of that stitch, go in, pull a band through everything, next stitch, back loop only, pull up a band, pull a band through everything, next one, back loop, pull a band through everything, next one, pull a band through everything, then you're going to find that center again for our little spike stitch thing, pull a band up through everything. So we're on the home stretch here. Find that first stitch, back loop, pull a band through everything, next stitch, back loop, pull a band through everything, next stitch, you pull up a band, and then pull a band through everything. Now chain 2, find the side of that stitch, and pull a band through everything. Find the next stitch, back loop, pull up a band, pull a band through everything, back loop, and the next one, pull a band through everything, back loop again, pull a band through everything, and now you want to find, here's our spike stitch from the beginning, so you just want to go through that on one side of it and then do a slip knot. So pull the band through everything, both ends on your hook. I'm going to pull mine towards the back and pull it tight. So give it a little pull and tug on the points. If it was yarn, you'd color block it, but I think it turns out very pretty this way. I do definitely enjoy how the double one looks, and it's definitely more solid, but it is more bands, so I just wanted to show that I think that it looks really pretty both ways, but it definitely takes a few more bands, especially if you want to make a lot of them. But I want to thank you for watching. I hope that it was easier to follow, and I hope that you don't mind me throwing in the crochet stuff so you kind of get used to that. It's definitely kind of fun to do, combining, you know, two of my favorite things, I guess, or, well, 2 of my 10 favorite things, because I like a lot of different crafts. But I hope that you enjoyed this. Hopefully it wasn't too hard to follow. I know that last row gets a little complicated when we're doing it, but it's not too horrible, I hope. Of course you'll have to hide your tails, but luckily they're pretty easy here, just because the colors are close by. So, but if you make some of these, I'd love to see them on my Instagram page, which is at Crafting Fantastic, or on my Facebook page, which is feelinspiffy or Crafting Fantastic. They both should find me, or you can look at the links below the video. And then also, of course, subscribing to my channel so you know when I come out with new things is awesome. I definitely appreciate that. And then for those of you who actually still watch till the end, I did put together this star as well. It would be a granny star. I really like how it turned out. It's a little fancier, but it's more along the lines of the granny square patterns. And I will put together a tutorial for this as well too. But I just thought I'd start with the smaller ones, and I don't know, I guess I always do that, small ones, and then everybody wants the big ones. Like, but they're all coming. But I hope that you enjoyed this, and I definitely will have more for you soon. Thanks for watching.